Hello right back, it's Jade Plays Games. Welcome back to another Ark Survival Evolved news show. Today we're taking a look at Ark on Nintendo Switch. I'm going to be giving you a lowdown, the latest rumours, gossip and from the developers themselves about what's happening with a version of that on that console. Also be taking a look at a few changes that you may have noticed on official servers to do with your dinosaurs and some of the issues you've been having with not being able to have more dinosaurs on the server because of server caps and what's going on with that whole situation. So let's get straight into it with the Ark news. Jesse, one of the founders of Ark Survival Evolved, has been hyping up everything that went on with Ark Survival's launch, everything they're looking to do in the future, as well as other plans. In this interview they talk a lot about the actual pricing of Ark and why they decided to go to a $60 release rather than a $30 and why they decided to go full retail. So I'm not necessarily going to go into that. We've been there, we've done that, I've covered that lots of times. But what was really interesting was when they was asked about the Nintendo Switch. The interviewer says Studio Wildcard also remains interested in the Nintendo Switch. Considering Nintendo's incredible sales and the fact that it's attracted more of a core following than the Wii, it's easy to ask, is Ark ultimately coming to Nintendo's hybrid console? Jesse says Switch is a little challenging because it's a totally different platform. We're having loads of ideas around, we're seeing if it makes sense right now. We don't have any concrete plans yet, but we're very close to Nintendo up here in Seattle and we all love the Switch for portability, gaming and stuff like that. Ark is one of those games where if you want it to do everything you can in the game, it's hard to pull away from it to go and do in real life. Ark is one of those games where if you want to do everything you can in the game, it's hard to pull away from it to go and do real life stuff. So I think Switch is a great platform for a game like Ark, because if the game's designed right, you can kind of pull out and do some stuff. It's kind of like some players play it almost like you might play a mobile game. You know, you might want to go and do something in the game for a few minutes, like tend to your dinos or your crops, or something if you play Ark that way. The mobility of the Switch platform might be appealing to those players because they can just kind of carry it with them. He goes on to say they do have a lot of hurdles, particularly around memory, but he says what they will say for sure is they're not ignoring the Switch. They think it's definitely proven to be a platform that is a little bit better this time round for third-party developers. People are buying it, people are loving the games, and I think it's just something that is now on our radar. So let's take a look at it and see what we can do. So not 100% definite guarantee it's coming, but it is true the Switch can handle a lot more than obviously previous generations on Nintendo could compared to PlayStation and Xbox. And if they could get that right, I could see it being a huge deal on Switch, particularly in some of the Asian markets. I could see Nintendo Switch Ark being massive. Can you imagine taking it to work, taking it on the train with you, keeping up to date on your tames? If you're rearing dinosaurs, if you're raising them, then you won't have to worry about, you know, having to go to work. There are so many stories across the forums and across social network about people taking days off of work, staying up for 20 hours straight to raise gigas and all sorts of crazy stuff. So the ability to do that mobilely, proper like mobile, not just like doing it on a, you know, a Windows 10 app on your laptop, that would be amazing. Now, I don't know, I've not actually tried it because I haven't got a PS Vita anymore and it's kind of dead anymore. Maybe I need to borrow my son's one and see if it works on Ark. Does the Vita work with Ark? Can you do the remote play using that? I've not tested that out. It'd be interesting to see if you can. Obviously, it still only works on a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connection, whereas the Switch platform would be a bit more different. It is the game in the Switch, so it has to have, you know, all that ability to hold all that memory. Recently, a new game or remake, LA Noire, that's coming to Nintendo Switch is so memory intensive it needs its own dedicated memory card. So there are definitely lots of challenges about getting it onto the Switch platform, but that would be pretty cool. Whether or not Ark is still popular enough to actually sell it on that platform, since so many people have actually bought it now, with nearly 12 million sales of Ark across the world, it has been a phenomenon. One thing to note though, that a lot of them sales are based in Asia and China. So would they be willing to play it on a Nintendo after already owning it on a PlayStation, an Xbox or a PC? What do you guys think? Would you buy a Switch knowing that you can play Ark on it and run around with it and do everything you want to do on it? Or do you think it's just a useless platform to put it on since it's already out everywhere else and Switch is still relatively, you know, young compared to the rest of the consoles? The interview goes on to cover a wide range of things. I'm going to leave the link down below. You can go and check it out for yourself. They talk about VR, that they're not necessarily going to knuckle down on it, but they're going to take a look at what their parent company or the company that's given them a big massive Lone Snail Games is doing with their version of a virtual reality game. And maybe there could be an opportunity to really emphasise and put it into the basic game. If you don't know, it was one of the actual things they were really hyping up when they first launched on consoles. When they done the E3 trailers and said it was coming to PlayStation within 6 months and just come out on Xbox. For months and months and months, one of the biggest posts on the PlayStation blog was about Ark virtual reality and how it would be a great fit for the virtual reality set. As time went on, they spoke less and less about it, and it ended up being something that they just palmed off to Snail Games to make their own little virtual reality experience. That game is due out before the end of the year. In fact, it's due out in December. One thing to note though, that virtual reality isn't doing as well as everyone expected it to. One thing as well, virtual reality isn't taking off. Just like I predicted a little bit, sales of the PlayStation VR particularly aren't as great as everyone would expect. And while there is good sales on the PC market for Revive and the other ones, it really hasn't taken off, I don't think, as much as people thought. When you look at the brand new games that are coming out for VR on PlayStation, there are nowhere near as many games that are utilising the VR that maybe hyped it up a little bit when it launched. Apart from Skyrim VR, I don't see anything that's really that exciting. Core Ark in the Dino world with virtual reality, would you get behind that? I also go on to talk about the popularity of Ark and the continued popularity of it and why Aberration will give the game a massive boost. I agree, it will. Ark is in definitely a funk at the moment, with the community feeling pretty aggravated as there's still so many bugs, glitches and problems, whether it's on official servers or the base game. So lots of you have been tweeting at me and messaging me asking what's going on with dino decay timers. It seems to change that you can't claim dinosaurs anymore when they decay. Lots of you are a little bit confused about what's going on. In this discussion on the actual forums it says, so basically dinosaurs aren't showing up with a timer as much anymore. Eli, the brand new community manager, corrects people in this actual forum and says dinos automatically decay after the old claim timer goes up when they are in stasis, and they are now unclaimable if it ends with the creature not in stasis but are deleted upon server restart. So basically, if you're around that dinosaur when that timer goes off, you can go and claim it. However, they've changed it now that if no one is around that dinosaur and then you go after the timer's finished and you try claiming it, it won't be there to be claimable, or it will be deleted next time the server gets a restart. This is really important, and it's actually a good move because it hopefully stops some of the server caps. If you don't know, so many official servers, particularly on Ragnarok, are hitting server cap. It's also a problem for rentable servers because there is quite a low threshold, and as yet I have not found a way to increase it. At the moment I think it's around 250 dinosaurs per tribe you can have on a rentable server, and on official servers obviously it's something like 5,000 dinosaurs or something like that, but so many servers have been hitting the caps in the last few weeks. So the PlayStation got an update yesterday, included in a lot of it was actually stuff to do with audio, and again it's been a problem for the last few weeks. This is probably the second update they've said that has fixed the audio issues. In the patch notes you can see, fix for PvE dino decay not properly destroying dinos after the decay period. You can also no longer download a dino onto your server if you're at the tribe cap or if the server is at the tame cap. Again, this is another great idea. I think this needed more than just putting it in the patch notes. I think the devs could have maybe shown and highlighted this in a little stream. In fact, it is something they implemented a while ago, but it apparently hasn't been working correctly. So lots of people were a little bit wondering what's going on. They're calling it stealth changes and stuff like that, but apparently it isn't down to that. It's just down to the fact that some part of it wasn't correctly working. So the bottom line is you won't be able to go around claiming hundreds of dinosaurs that people abandon in their bases. You have to be there the minute it actually gets claimable, otherwise you won't be able to claim that dinosaur. That's as far as I understand it. I don't play on officials, I don't go around claiming dinosaurs. If you know any better, or if you've got a difference about that, let me know in the comment section down below. Hopefully it's one of the first steps into sorting out the problems. I gave him a little bit of a stick on Twitter the other day, although I don't really call it a stick, I'm just trying to give him some sort of feedback. And I've said it again and I'll keep saying it. Everything they tweet lately is getting a lot of negative feedback. There really isn't a lot of goodwill around Wildcard at the moment. When I've gone through some tweets, as I do, literally 95% of the tweets are literally negative or asking about problems, issues, bug fixes, when are they going to do this, when are they going to do that. My idea is for them to do more vlogging and show off some of the work they do behind the scenes. And I'm not talking just about a live stream of Aberration or something like that. I'm talking literally about the nuts and bolts of how they make some decisions in the game and how it can have an impact. Remains to be seen whether or not they'll do that. I'm still collating a bunch of information. I am going to present it so that I can hopefully try and get some sort of interview with one of the actual wildcard devs. I think it's a really good idea to get some answers from them about the long-term future of Ark and what they plan to do to carry on trying to give official servers a bit more life and a bit more care. And lastly, I'll just finish off with Xbox. Some of you are still reporting problems trying to find your dedicated server. Now, for the majority, most people have said it's a lot better now, but there are still some issues with trying to find it. So carry on doing the trick of going offline and then online when you're searching for an actual server and see if that fixes the problem, particularly for Xbox. So there you go, that is another Ark news video done and dusted. The likelihood of it coming to Switch, maybe. Not right now, probably maybe in like 6 months we might get some more information about it possibly coming. And hopefully now you know the gist of what's going on with servers and actual dinosaurs on PvE. If you've noticed, I've not been right bang up to date with some of the information about Ark, particularly like these smaller updates. In all honesty, unless there is something really significant from now on, I'm not going to be covering every single update on Ark Survival Evolved. There is still a bit of a negative atmosphere around Ark in general at the moment. And while sales are good and people are still playing it obviously, I think a lot of people were desperate to get some of this new content. So when Aberration is here, I'll be back and I'll be doing videos every single day about every sort of aspect of Ark and Aberration DLC. However, till then, I'm going to be focusing more of my time on other games and other news and other stuff I want to cover. So unless there's something big or groundbreaking happening with Ark, you're not going to see me doing a daily video on it. I'd rather tell you guys about that up front rather than you just wonder where the Ark videos are. I'm still covering Ark, I'm always going to be covering Ark for a long time to come still. But I definitely want to carry on doing other things because you guys are obviously doing other things as well. So let me know in the comment section what you've been playing, what you've been interested in watching. I still love to get loads of feedback. Last time I asked this, you guys gave me a bunch of ideas about what to cover and what to look at, so thank you for that. So expect lots of brand new content and lots of new formats for my channel. Until then, ratbags, I will see you later on.